Someone makes a simple statement. Everyone else nods and moves on. But you cannot. Your mind immediately generates questions. Is that actually true? What evidence supports that? What assumptions are we making? What are we not considering? While others are 3 topics ahead, you are still examining the premises of the first statement. And you notice the exhaustion in people's eyes when you ask your questions. The subtle frustration. The sense that you are being difficult when you are simply being thorough. Here is what most people misunderstand about this: you are not trying to be contrarian. You are not seeking attention or trying to appear smart. Your brain literally processes information differently, and that difference creates both profound insight and profound isolation. I am going to show you what cognitive psychology reveals about people who question everything, why this pattern exists, what it costs and what it offers, and most importantly, how to honor this cognitive style while maintaining connection with people who process the world differently. This is not about changing who you are. This is about understanding why you are this way. Think about the last time someone accused you of overthinking or being too critical. What were you actually trying to understand? Keep that in mind as we continue. In 2017, Dr. Scott Barry Kaufman at the University of Pennsylvania published research on what he terms epistemic curiosity, the drive to question existing knowledge and challenge accepted frameworks. His findings revealed that approximately 12 to 15% of people score exceptionally high on measures of epistemic curiosity, showing a cognitive compulsion to question premises that most people accept without examination. This is not about intelligence. This is about cognitive orientation. Your brain is wired to treat every statement as a hypothesis requiring examination rather than a fact requiring acceptance. What looks like skepticism or difficult behavior to others is actually your default processing mode. Dr. Kaufman's research showed that high epistemic curiosity correlates with specific brain patterns. Enhanced connectivity between the anterior cingulate cortex, which detects contradictions and errors, and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which engages in critical analysis. Your brain is literally structured to notice what does not quite fit, what has not been proven, what assumptions are being smuggled in as truth. The challenge is not the questioning itself. The challenge is existing in a world where most social cohesion depends on shared acceptance of unexamined premises, and your inability to accept those premises marks you as disruptive rather than thorough. Source: Dr. Scott Barry Kaufman, University of Pennsylvania, Epistemic Curiosity Research. Dr. Jordan Litman, Interest Deprivation Theory of Curiosity. Links in description. Pattern 1, you cannot accept information at face value. Someone shares a statistic, repeats a popular opinion, or states something presented as common knowledge. Everyone else processes this as information received. Your brain immediately activates a different sequence. Who said this? What is their motivation? What data supports this claim? What contradictory evidence exists? What definitions are we using? What context have we stripped away? This happens automatically, not as a choice. Research by Dr. Jordan Litman on curiosity types distinguishes between interest curiosity and deprivation curiosity. Interest curiosity feels pleasant, you enjoy learning. Deprivation curiosity feels uncomfortable, you cannot rest until knowledge gaps are filled and contradictions are resolved. People who question everything experience deprivation curiosity intensely. The unanswered question creates genuine cognitive discomfort similar to hunger or thirst. You are not being pedantic when you ask for clarification or evidence. You are attempting to resolve the mental discomfort of accepting unverified claims. The social cost: most conversation operates on a foundation of mutually agreed upon premises that allow people to discuss conclusions without relitigating basics. When you question those foundational premises, you are perceived as refusing to participate in the actual conversation. Others feel like you are moving backward while they want to move forward. But from your perspective, you cannot move forward on unstable foundations. Building conclusions on unexamined assumptions feels intellectually dishonest, like constructing a house on sand and pretending it is solid ground. Pattern 2, you see contradictions others miss. Someone holds two beliefs that logically contradict each other. They experience no discomfort because they hold both beliefs in separate mental compartments, never bringing them into direct comparison. You cannot do this. Your brain automatically compares new information against existing frameworks, immediately detecting logical inconsistencies. Dr. Philip Tatlock's research on cognitive styles shows that what he calls foxes, people who draw from multiple frameworks and constantly update beliefs, experience significantly more cognitive dissonance than hedgehogs, people who interpret everything through one consistent worldview. Foxes notice contradictions because they hold information in integrated systems where contradictions become visible. The psychological experience, you point out the contradiction gently. The other person becomes defensive, not because they disagree with your logic, but because you are threatening the compartmentalization that allows them psychological comfort. They accuse you of being argumentative when you were simply noting an objective logical inconsistency. This creates a painful loop. You cannot unsee contradictions once you notice them. Others cannot understand why you insist on pointing them out. You feel gaslit, told that obvious contradictions do not exist or do not matter. They feel attacked, criticized for thinking patterns that feel perfectly natural to them. Pattern 3, you need to understand why before you can accept what. Someone gives you instructions, rules, or expectations. Before you can comply, you need to understand the reasoning. Not because you are resistant to authority, but because your brain cannot execute actions built on premises you have not examined. This connects to what psychologist Dr. Ellen Langer calls mindfulness versus mindlessness. Most people can operate mindlessly, following rules, accepting conventions, performing tasks without understanding underlying reasons. Your cognitive architecture requires mindfulness. You need the why to make the what cognitively available. In workplace settings, just do it this way because that is how we do it is cognitively unsatisfying to the point of being almost impossible to execute. You need the reasoning. Is this method based on tested efficiency? Historical accident? Someone's preference? Legal requirement? Different answers lead to different levels of adherence and different possibilities for improvement. Your questions are not insubordination. They are the cognitive requirement for your brain to process and retain the information. But they are perceived as challenging authority because most systems expect compliance before comprehension. Pattern 4, you cannot participate in groupthink. When everyone around you agrees on something, your brain does not experience comfort from consensus. It experiences suspicion. Why does everyone agree? What are we not examining? What dissenting voices have been excluded? What happens to people who question this consensus? Research by Dr. Irving Janis on groupthink shows that questioning the group consensus triggers social punishment, exclusion, hostility, accusations of disloyalty. Most people find this social cost too high and moderate their questions to maintain belonging. Your brain finds the intellectual cost of unexamined consensus higher than the social cost of exclusion. The isolation, you are the person who asks the uncomfortable question in the meeting. Who points out that the emperor has no clothes. Who will not pretend agreement for the sake of social harmony. This makes you valuable in some contexts. Organizations need people who catch errors before they become disasters. But it makes you exhausting in others. People want to feel comfortable in shared beliefs without constant examination. Pattern 5, you experience intellectual restlessness. Even when you find answers, you immediately generate new questions. Okay, but what about this edge case? What if the opposite were true? How do we know our methodology was sound? What are we still missing? Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's research on flow states shows that people need optimal challenge to feel engaged. For you, optimal challenge is perpetually higher than for most people. Solved problems bore you. Unanswered questions energize you. This creates a paradox where success, finding answers, leads to restlessness rather than satisfaction. The personal cost, you rarely feel settled. Even your deeply held beliefs remain open for revision if new evidence emerges. This intellectual flexibility is valuable for truth-seeking but exhausting for certainty-seeking. You watch others rest in confident conclusions while you perpetually question even your own positions. Pattern 6, you feel alienated by surface-level discourse. Small talk, conventional wisdom, popular platitudes, these feel like intellectual starvation to you. Not because you are arrogant, but because your brain needs complexity, nuance, and depth to feel engaged. When someone offers a bumper sticker solution to a complex problem, your brain immediately generates 17 complicating factors. When everyone else seems satisfied with the simple answer, you feel profoundly alone in seeing the complexity. Dr. Elaine Aron's research on sensory processing sensitivity shows that depth of processing is a measurable cognitive trait. Some brains naturally process information more deeply, seeing layers, implications, and complexities that surface-level processing misses. This is not overthinking. This is your natural processing depth. Pause. How many of these patterns define your daily experience? This recognition shifts from "what is wrong with me" to "this is how my brain works." Understanding this cognitive style is not about fixing it. It is about developing strategies that honor your need to question while maintaining relationships and functionality. The 3-step integration framework. Step 1. Distinguish context: truth-seeking versus social bonding. Not every conversation requires epistemological rigor. Sometimes people are bonding over shared beliefs, not debating truth claims. Your cognitive task is recognizing which mode the interaction occupies. Questions like, is this a truth-seeking conversation where questions are welcomed? Or is this a social bonding conversation where agreement builds connection? Different contexts require different approaches. You can participate in social bonding without intellectual dishonesty by saying, I have not examined this deeply enough to have a strong opinion, but I understand why that perspective resonates with people. You acknowledge the social function without pretending certainty you do not have. Step 2. Find your cognitive peers. You need relationships where questioning is welcomed, not tolerated. Find the people who energize when you ask questions rather than exhaust. These might be academic environments, research communities, philosophical discussion groups, or simply individuals who share your processing depth. These relationships are not better than others. They are necessary for your specific cognitive architecture. Just as extroverts need social stimulation and introverts need solitude, people who question everything need spaces where questioning is the norm, not the exception. Step 3. Develop question framing skills. Your questions are often perceived as attacks because of framing, not content. That is not true. Triggers defensiveness. I am curious about the evidence for that. What convinced you? Invites dialogue. Same question, different delivery. You are still examining premises. But you are inviting the other person into collaborative examination rather than implying they are wrong for accepting those premises initially. This is not manipulation. This is translation, converting your natural questioning into forms that feel like curiosity rather than criticism to people who process differently. The deepest truth about questioning everything is this: your cognitive style is not a bug. It is a feature that comes with both profound costs and profound gifts. The costs are real. Intellectual loneliness. Social friction. Exhaustion from perpetually examining what others accept automatically. The inability to rest in certainty that provides psychological comfort to others. But the gifts are equally real. You catch errors others miss. You see possibilities others overlook. You prevent groupthink disasters. You push humanity toward deeper truth by refusing to accept comfortable falsehoods. The world needs people who question everything. But those people need to learn how to inhabit a world where most people need unexamined certainty for psychological stability and social cohesion. Remember that moment you thought about at the beginning when someone accused you of overthinking. You were not overthinking. You were thinking at your natural depth while they were thinking at theirs. Neither is wrong. Both are necessary. If this framework helped you understand your questioning nature, share it. Comment which pattern resonated most strongly. And remember, you are not difficult for asking questions. You are thorough. You are not negative for seeing problems. You are realistic. You are not exhausting for needing evidence. You are intellectually honest. The challenge is not changing who you are. The challenge is finding the contexts where who you are is valued, while developing the skills to navigate contexts where different cognitive styles dominate. That is not compromise. That is wisdom. That is how people who question everything find peace in a world that mostly accepts without asking.